Hello and welcome to this Warcraft replay. This is going to be the second game of this best of three, and the series between Lucifer and WFZ. Yes, the Undead Mirror, the very, very rare matchup that we will ever see nowadays in Warcraft 3. And yeah, what a great game one, I would say. Maybe not the entire game, but maybe the last couple of minutes, because I mean, it just showed how great both players were at adapting to scenarios, and yeah, really, really good on both of the players' parts, even though Lucifer was really, really behind later at the end of the game. I mean, he was able to win one fight. So let's talk about that after the introductions. In the top left we have Lucifer, the blue undead player on the map Twisted Meadows. He is gonna go for a Tomb of Relic, maybe a later graveyard, similar opening to Game 1. Meanwhile, WFZ is going to be spawning in as the red undead player in the top right of the map Twisted Meadows. He is going to be going for a Tomb of Relics graveyard. Yep, so did Lucifer, and a Death Knight first for both players. Nothing out of the ordinary. Lucifer is going to scout in the wrong direction, but so does WFZ. So yeah, it does look like that both players will eventually cross paths. By both players, I mean both of the acolytes. So yeah, kind of cheeky. Very funny when that actually happens. Like when you scouted out every single possible base until the last one, and then there's your opponent. It's kind of funny because it would have been the total opposite if you actually sent your scout the other way. So yeah, Death Knight first. It does look like that Lucifer is, or has, predicted or assumed where his opponent is. So did WFZ, by the way, so yep, they will be able to send their skeletal minions, but of course WFZ is quicker, and I think Lucifer has noticed that, so he will be going in to defend instead. Alright. So yeah, let's talk about game one while all the shenanigans are happening in the background. I don't think I need to commentate that much on the background, so yeah, let's talk about game one. Particularly in the the closing minutes of the game. Banshees were a really great choice for WFZ, considering that Lucifer didn't have that many statues. He was mainly focusing on the number of Crypt Fiends that he would have instead of maybe destroyers or anything like that. So he went WFZ went Banshees, and that worked out really great. It forced Lucifer to retreat, lost a lot of units, but at the same time, Lucifer was adapting. He was trying to, you know, create an army revolving around countering those Banshees, and he did very, very well, in fact. With destroyers, destroyers were really great against Banshees because they could just devour the curse. Even though anti-magic shell or shield, I keep getting those mixed up. Even the shield kind of, negates and kind of eats a little bit of the orbs of corruption or orbs of destruction. Not destruction, orbs of annihilation. That's what it's called. It's still quite a bit of damage, and yeah, that was great. WFZ was forced to retreat in that time. But then the closing minutes, I think Lucifer was a little too hasty with his move, but maybe he wasn't hasty enough because at the same time WFZ was researching the webs, and that totally screwed Lucifer. So yep, really back and forth in terms of whose turn it is to adapt and whatnot, and yeah, no, unfortunately Lucifer was not able to get the victory, but thankfully WFZ was. Anyway, going back to this game, as quite a number of things have happened. WFZ was invaded by his opponent, claiming himself the Null Creep Camp. Meanwhile, WFZ is rather persistent on trying to at least delay one of these acolytes, but it's not going to work too well. Even if he kills one, there is apparently that number 6, who was a scout initially. I mean, so does WFZ have one, but at the same time, Lucifer is not exactly harassing. But that does not look like it's going to matter. Black Citadel is already underway. Meanwhile, Lucifer has yet to complete his Halls of the Dead, so will this be a repeat out, or will it not? I don't know. Slaughterhouse has been placed down. It's nearly completed, or not at all. It's halfway there. And yeah, nothing much to say about that actually. Death Knight will reach level 2 and he will get himself the Unholy Aura. There we go, increased movement speed as well as health regeneration. And yeah, nothing much to say about that. Oh, items, I can talk about items. Nothing of interest, +2 Ring of Protection. Meanwhile, Lucifer does have a Circlet of Nobility. WFZ has yet to start training up his Lich, but he will most likely around the 70 to 80% mark of the Black Citadel. That's when the Lich gets greeted with the Orb of Corruption. And I would imagine the Dark Ranger coming back again, especially since the Dark Ranger has proved very useful for both players. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. There we go with the Lich at around the 70% mark. Meanwhile, Black Citadel around halfway. For Lucifer, no Lich just yet, but I would imagine the same timing. I mean, if it's not broken, why fix it? Meanwhile, Lucifer is still trying to battle it out with WFZ, who has managed to get himself +6 strength from this creep camp. So he will be able to, I guess, dish out a little more damage, even though Lucifer did steal 2 ogres under his nose, so he will get that early level 3. Ring has been sold, and dust has been purchased. Dust most likely to counteract the burrows from those Crypt Fiends that, you know, can determine who will win a fight and who will not because of the micromanagement behind it, but yeah, still. Statues are popping up for both players. WFZ already has his, but it does look like Lucifer has one more Crypt Fiend compared to WFZ, so maybe he's got that going for him. A fresh set of Rod of Necromancy, even though he did use 1 charge. I still have some mixed feelings with the Rod of Necromancy, to be fairly honest. I mean, close steal over there, but yeah, back to the Rod. I guess it's kind of a worthwhile item in the early stages of the game, especially when units are scarce, but in the later stages, I don't know why people still, I think it's not that effective purchasing it anymore, because it's still 150 gold. That's a huge amount of gold. That could be that's 3/4 of Ghoul, actually. Not Ghoul, Crypt Fiend. So yeah, I don't know, maybe, I mean, it's 8 skeletons, so maybe it's worth in the end, so I don't know too much, since I don't usually play Undead. But then again, I don't usually play Warcraft anymore. I just cast it, cause it's literally the only thing I do anymore. Anyway, level 3 on the Death Knight. Lich Dark Ranger combo has been added. Meanwhile, Lucifer is still waiting on his own Dark Ranger, I believe. The top Rock Golem camp is going to be cleared out by WFZ, and he will get the good item. It is going to be the Robot Magi +6. That's probably going to be given to the Lich, as WFZ is going to try and run away from this, but with the ensnare from the Trapper, rather annoying actually, but it will force him to fight Lucifer. Looks like he might be hitting the bitter end of this. He could potentially take down the Death Knight, but he did use a health potion. Oh, never mind. That was completely the other way around. I absolutely forgot that Both players have switched colors. Sorry about the confusion, but yeah, Lucifer's Death Knight almost took a bit of a hit, but he did use a health potion. His Dark Ranger has finally came to the battlefield, and yeah, will they continue fighting? I don't know. There we go with the silence, but it only hit the Death Knight. That means that, I mean, units will be nuked down a little bit, but it doesn't look like it's favoring too much for Lucifer. I mean, he's only managed to get one Crypt Fiend, but at the same time, one of his Crypt Fiends got taken down as well, so yeah, so far it's even trades. I don't think Lucifer can actually benefit from even trades. He needs to come up on these trades if he wants to, I guess, retake the lead. Yep, and it does look like that WFZ has overtaken the, what is it, the hero advantage. I mean, especially with that +6 intelligence, which the Death Knight is going to keep hold of. It doesn't look like he's going to transfer it to the Lich anytime soon, probably because of the Dark Ritual that the Lich has. Never mind, the Robe Magi has been dropped, and he has just done what I said that he was not going to do. Never mind. Okay, here we go with a fight. Dark Ranger is missing, I believe. She is back at base trying to purchase Rod and Necromancy. 49 versus 49, so it is literally even for both parts, but it will determine on the unit control of both players. We do have an Abomination out for WFZ, however, so that's quite a bit of tankiness for him. Smart decision making from WFZ as he chooses to retreat as soon as his units, or his vital heroes, get silenced. So, I mean, it's like he delayed the fight long enough for that silence to wear out, and then starts engaging, silences himself, or silences back himself, so, and he's actually doing very well in these trades. Lucifer hasn't killed that many units, actually. However, the Death Knight did take quite a bit of a beating. I honestly think that Lucifer should maybe just tunnel vision on that Death Knight a little bit, because tunnel visioning on the other units is not as great, because death coils are coming out, and I believe another one will be coming out very soon when the silence is over, but it is not going to happen. In fact, so I was stated incorrectly. Yeah, but still, Lucifer is retreating. Death Knight will be able to get that statue as well, so very, very opportunistic from WFZ. 34 versus 43. Clear advantage for WFZ in this game, like once again. So he could potentially win this one. I mean, he's taken probably the vital creep camps. I mean, he's taken the +6 attribute item from this one. He's taken the +6 attribute from this one, and he could potentially get a very good item from this one. It is going to be a Talisman of Evasion. It's going to be given to the Lich. That is going to increase his survivability somewhat, especially against those Crypt Fiends who heavily rely on that just attacking. Okay, interesting item for Lucifer in this one. He has Scourge Bone Chimes. Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting one, especially if he chooses to keep, because 10% lifesteal, or 15% lifesteal actually, in an army consisting mostly of Crypt Fiends and statues, I'm not sure how useful that will be, but there we go with a huge TP in the on top of the army of WFZ. However, Lucifer's, all three of his heroes is actually silenced. That's not particularly good. You can see all those those text pop-ups of the units missing the Lich. I mean, maybe they should focus on fighting a different unit. But either way, it is going to force the Lich of WFZ to TP out and take the army with it. Acolytes are being harassed by skeletal warriors, and they've actually managed to take one of those acolytes out, and kind of forcing Lucifer to be a little bit behind in terms of gold. As you can see, again, around 200 to 300 difference in gold mined. And in fact, WFZ has a shade out in the field, so he'll be able to spot the army of Lucifer probably the entire game, even though Lucifer did have a couple of moments where he could detect invisible units and then just dust it. So, I mean, he might be able to spot that shade, but who knows for sure. Okay, here we go with WFZ bringing in those Banshees once again. And yeah, pushing Lucifer away, taking out the remainder of these units, and the tome is going to be... this is not a tome camp at all. Never mind, it's from the Goblin Merchants. Yeah, but still, maybe dust will be purchased, as I would imagine Lucifer maybe scouted out the sacrificial pit, but apparently he hasn't, so the shade is gonna live for longer, I guess. More skeleton warriors are moving in to, I guess, harass the acolytes once again. I mean, not much defense is placed in both of either of these players' bases. Black Citadel doesn't deal as enough damage to completely kill those units. And yeah, I mean, skeletons might be able to pick off another acolyte again. Nice Frost Nova on the majority of those Crypt Fiends and units. One will fall, and another might follow. And it's not going to happen. Okay, both players were pushing each other, but it looks like WC3 was able to come up on top. The item is going to be the Explosive Attack +6. I believe that was the item. Otherwise, I have no idea where that item came from. Rockgun is going to get cleared out by Lucifer. What is going to pick up? He is going to pick up the Bruiser Quel'Thalas and get out of there. I think that Great Hell Potion was picked up as well, but it doesn't look like it. I think he picked that up somewhere else. Okay, so interesting set of items for Lucifer. He's got a Staff of Silence. That's maybe going to be useful when the Dark Ranger is out of commission, because it's just stacking crowd control abilities on top of each other. Even though Silence is probably one of the minor crowd control abilities, it's probably very vital to use on against an undead, because they rely on spells, or just spell casting, because Death Coil is a major key player in terms of undead versus anything. And TP on top of the entire army. I think Lucifer maybe could have just retreated either way. I mean, he chose to fight because his Dark Ranger was near the army, but I think that was a pretty foolish fight, in my opinion. We are going to silence the majority of those Banshees, but they will no longer be silenced, and a curse will probably be casted. I mean, if they have the mana to. I have no idea what the focus is going to be. Crypt Fiend has been taken down, but it looks like Lucifer's Death Knight is now the next target. He does have Great Healing Potion, which will be used, and he will be able to retreat. That is all, though. I mean, WFZ has chosen not to chase. Instead, he is going to go over upkeep once again in this game. I don't know, Lucifer's in a little bit of a predicament right now. I mean, if he goes the Destroyer route once again, WFZ is just going to go Web again and win the game. So it's really difficult for him to go this route, but Destroyers are available and we are going to have them. I don't know. I mean, the Shade is going to spot the Destroyer. I mean, it was probably an inevitability anyway. Destroyers is probably the best option to fight against this unit composition, but I guess it just depends on the number of units on each side. I'm trying to withhold this hiccup here, but not doing a good job. Level 4, level 3, level 3 versus, I'd imagine the same thing, but it's not. Level 4, level 4, level 4, I believe. Nope, level 4, level 4, level 3 on WFZ's part, but it looks like the Dark Range is going to hit 4 anyway, so not much of a difference. Hilarious Food of Accuracy. Now that is an interesting item, and that is going to be probably the game-changing item, maybe, for Lucifer. I mean, he'll definitely like this item compared to Scourge Bone Chimes. Oh, and it looks like Lucifer is going to enlist the Zeppelin. Oh no, this is not good. But the Zeppelin has been webbed, and the TP scroll will be used instead. Oh dear. That was bad. But weird, because the Zeppelin... Strange, I thought the units that were in the Zeppelin when the Zeppelin's killed would get heavily, what is it? I don't know what it's called, but I think it's just massive dizziness, like, for a very long time, because, you know, like, being in a plane accident could be traumatizing, so why couldn't it be with a Zeppelin? I don't know why the debuff is not on, but who knows? Maybe, I have no idea. Maybe that'll be explained later on in the comment section, but as of now, expansion has been claimed for WFZ, so I mean, he's ahead in more than one ways. I think you could just, like, Acolytes, just mine the last 30 gold of this gold mine, because, I mean, what else are you going to be used for? I mean, you could probably just move to the bottom gold mine as well, but, I mean, come on, at least finish this. This is just disgraceful. TP scroll is going to be used for WFZ, and TP scroll is going to be used for Lucifer, so he's going to get out of there as soon as he sees the reinforcements coming. Alright. Yay, Acolytes will be able to finally mine the last 30 gold of this gold mine. Maybe we should watch it. I don't know. I mean, the game's kind of slowing down since both players have pretty much been retreated back to their own base. And there we go. Pretty beautiful, but, you know, it could have been done a lot earlier on. Alright, upgrades. 3-1 for the Crypt Fiends of WFZ. He's doing a really good job upgrading in this series, basically. 2-0 for Lucifer, not as ahead as WFZ is, but come on, he's been behind the entire game. I guess I could cut him some slack. Interestingly enough as well is that Lucifer is not heavily into those destroyers, but he does have another statue out, so he might be able to maybe make another destroyer. I mean, he is focusing more on those Crypt Fiends, but at the same time, maybe those curses might be able to tear Lucifer's army bit by bit. Lucifer's Death Knight is sure taking quite a bit of beating, and there we go with the curses. Curses are now being spread around those Crypt Fiends, and they're kind of screwing with him. Not to mention, Anti-Magic Shield is such a pain. It is Anti-Magic Shell. Oh, damn it. Either way, this is not looking good for Lucifer. I mean, he is no upkeep versus WFZ's most likely low upkeep army. So it's not looking good. Plus, Curse is still there. Dark Ranger is going to be taken down at level 3. There we go with another Crypt Fiend as well, and GG from Lucifer. That is going to be the series, and that is going to be the game. I said that in the wrong order. That was the game, and this is the series. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Yeah, not much to say. I mean, I do like casting Undead Mirrors, but, you know, it's such a rarity that it's so hard to come by. Either way, I'll see you guys next time. I don't know what I'm going to cast next, but hopefully it's going to be interesting. Take care.